Good evening, and welcome to Story Hour. I'm tonight's host, Laura Blackwell. My co-host, the marvelous Daniel Marcus, started Story Hour pretty close to 5 years ago now. And it's been so much fun that we've been coming back pretty much every Wednesday this whole time because we have writers here and they have stories and they're awesome writers with awesome stories. So really, it would be silly to miss out. Good thing you're here too. So welcome back to those of you returning, and welcome to those of you joining us for the first time. As always, we have two writers. These are two favorites who we haven't seen in a while. Tonight's readers are Vanessa Fogg and Marisca Pichette. And if you're here on Zoom, feel free to chime in on the text chat. If you're here on Facebook, there's a comment function. We'd love it if you leave us a comment, but we're not monitoring that so much right now. So don't be sad if no one gets back to you right away. Okay? Okay. So our first reader tonight is Marisca Pichette. Marisca Pichette is a queer author of short fiction and poetry. Her work has appeared in Strange Horizons, Clark's World, Asimov's, FNSF, and more. Her debut collection, Rivers in Your Skin, Sirens in Your Hair, was a finalist for the Bram Stoker and Elgin Awards. She lives in Massachusetts. Marisca, welcome.
Thank you. It is great to be back. Tonight, I'm going to be reading a story that honestly doesn't work very well to be read aloud, but I really want to read it, so I'm going to do my best. It was in the August issue of Clark's World this year, and it is 3 points of view as well as some interstitial things. So I'm going to do my best to change my voice for each point of view so it's pretty clear when they switch. It's all epistolary. So the story is called 3 Circuits of the Monoceros Ring. Intercepted file number 92. Partially corrupted between the orbits of Saturn and Jupiter. Transcribed recipes, mostly savory in nature. Localized ingredients indicate regional origin in Europe. Dear Neon, I tried my hand at your meme's tart recipe this morning. I was able to replicate most of the ingredients, but of course I had to substitute for boysenberry and cardamom. I think it turned out okay. I won't be sure until it's finished setting up in my tiny fridge. Did you get that live stream of the solar flare? Fucking gorgeous and a little terrifying. I guess that's the difference between a yellow dwarf and a red giant. Chalk tried to capture it in watercolor. Did he send you a picture? 1,504 light years away. Pastel. Intercepted file number 103. Intact image of a magnified gas giant. No further information. Dear Chalk, wow, your rendering of the outer Milky Way is incredible. I'm glad those glittery paints are working out. You know, the instant I saw them, I thought of you. Things are pretty quiet out here. The nearest asteroid is miles away, so I'm spending lots of time stargazing while the analytics do their work. Math in the evenings. Not as elegant as painting. A few days back, I picked up another rubbish capsule. Cleaning up the galaxy is slow work, but occasionally we come across something interesting. Once the trash in the capsule had been rendered, I had reprocessed into paper. I'm working on a galaxy of my own now. Origami stars and papier-mâché planets suspended from the mess hall ceiling. Perks of being the only one aboard, I guess. I get to decorate however I please. Got a letter from Pastel last night. Shorter than usual. 2,856 light years away. Neon. Intercepted file number 134. Incomplete recording of someone singing. Voice unknown. Masculine in timbre. Lyrics in French. Dear Pastel, I wish I could taste the flan you made. If only sugar could be coated and sent across space. With ready access to your cooking, the months would fly by in decadence, and I'd soon be too big to fit in my EMU. Here's the latest: Andromeda as viewed from the east. I set the screen magnification to 4,000, but do me a favor and pretend that's what I see when I look out the viewport. All glitter and majesty. The reality is more boring, of course, just a grainy white smudge on the horizon. I know there's no horizon out here. But even after almost a year, I can't fully divorce myself from terrestrial comparison. Winters in Alaska were a lot like this: enveloping night, persistent cold, and the wide, wide sky. 28,990 light years away. Chalk. Intercepted file number 185. Unbroken code. When executed, it created a map of stars in the local group. Lines had been drawn between them, creating constellations in no existing records. Researchers identified a lily, a crane, and an orca. Dear Chalk, I'd send you recipes if I trusted you to make them right. Try this instead. Ask your processor for 2 small cakes. Pound cake or vanilla is best. Then ask for a cup of sweet cream and put it in a bottle. Shake it for at least 2 minutes until it thickens enough to spread. Use it to stick the cakes together and then ask for your favorite fruit to put on top. I also like to add honey. Tell me, when you try this, if it ends up tasting like home. 39,700 light years away. Pastel. Intercepted file number 201, captured in the asteroid belt. A list of names and dates. Possibly the birth and death dates of pets or similar short-lived creatures. Dear Pastel, I'm enclosing a few more recipes with this letter. I've attempted the simpler ones, but I know better than to try the souffle. Were my meme's still alive, she'd gladly trade her grandson for you. She always labored under the misguided belief that my sexuality presaged culinary wonders. In my case, fruity only extended so far as cute patterned shirts, not elaborate desserts. Though, I'll never turn down the opportunity to taste them. If our paths cross in a month, a year, you'd better have the table set and waiting. 3,112 light years away. Neon. Intercepted file number 233. Irretrievably damaged. Dear Neon, I'm a big fan of Uranus, but you knew that already. Who knew math geeks could make art? In all seriousness, the work you're putting into that sculpture is impressive. I've always tried to capture the beauty of the cosmos, but you harness the reality. It sounds frankly exhausting to carefully measure and ratio your model, coloring every piece with an eye toward faithful reproduction. But at the same time, the pictures you sent are magical. I passed Pluto nearly a year ago, and my memories of it are dim at best. I didn't even think it worth painting. But your Pluto, tiny as it is, a fleck on your fingernail poised carefully for the photo, took my breath away. Tell me now, where will you find space to build the sun? 47,456 light years away. Chalk. Intercepted file number 287, on the edge of the solar system. A single step in origami instructions. While the final shape is unknown, it begins with the frog base. Dear Chalk, I'm glad the cakes worked out. I'm working on a list of simple recipes like that. Desserts not even you can fuck up. Did you see Neon Saturn? That's my favorite. It's hard to believe he made it out of paper. It looks just as heavy, just as dense as the real thing. I circled past Saturn last month, collected a few more samples for the research team. Next week, I'll be sending them back home in probes before the distance is too great. When I look out the window, I can no longer tell which spot is Earth. 38,760 light-years away. Pastel. Intercepted file number 303, passing Venus. Crash coordinates for a research probe deployed to Earth from the outer solar system, set to land in the Pacific. Dear Pastel, our latest haul included ashes mixed with melted plastic. As I was tumbling them, misshapen fillings clattered into the exclusion tray. They're not the first human remains I've turned up on my journey. It's strange, finding things like that. On the one hand, it's a reminder that I'm not the only one out here. On the other, it's a sign that the nearest soul has fled, disappearing into the long dark. I could use one of those treats tonight, my distant love. 4,585 light-years away. Neon. Intercepted file number 314, almost unreadable. A few words at the end indicate a communication between research ships. Never delivered. Dear Pastel, how long are my messages taking to reach you? I'm nearing the edge of the galaxy now. The last letter I received from Neon was dated a week old. His photos came out pixelated. I worry what might happen when I cross at last into open space. Looking behind, I'm starting to see the hazy shape of the Milky Way. It's always been there, of course, but now that I'm almost outside of it, well, I tried to capture the image in paint. Let me know if the attached file opens for you. I had to compress it even smaller to cover the vast distance. You might be heading in the same direction, but I feel like the hare sprinting ahead. If only I could stop for a rest and wake up to find a tortoise at my side. 43,800 light-years away. Chalk. Dear Neon, tonight I'm making pain au chocolat. Join me? Your meme taught us this one together, standing shoulder to shoulder in her sunny kitchen. Yours might fall a little flat, but they'll taste just as delicious. Chalk was already launched when we sat in the garden and tasted our pastries over cappuccino. I remember his first letter back, swirling blue globe, suspended in the dark. The glitter paints you gave him articulated the atmosphere, shimmering and seemingly alive. I printed the photo and hung it up in my office, a reminder of who we are, where we are. I still have that photo. It hangs over my cot. I hope in a year, a decade, I get to see Chalk's painted world again. The real thing never quite lived up to his art. 7,412 light-years away. Pastel. Dear Chalk, your last letter took 10 days to reach me, or 10 nights if I look out the window. The sun grows more distant. For you, I know it's just another star now. Here's a picture of my completed solar system. Yes, I ended up just building half a sun, wedged against the wall. Even with all I've scrounged and recycled, I couldn't spare the filling to make it stable as a sphere. I hope this is a reminder for you that no matter how far away you fly, the light's still on, awaiting your return. You haven't sent a painting in a while. What are you working on? 52,614 light-years away. Neon. Dear Neon, I'm out now. Your file got corrupted. It might not work, but could you try sending a picture of your face? 63,480 light-years away. Chalk. Dear Chalk, I've included front and side views since I know how much you like my jaw. Oh, and I hope the third photo loads. It's a spicier one. Whenever you get this, I want you to try recipe number 18, for me. 52,300 light-years away. Pastel. Dear Chalk, sending over 5 pics. One's a bit older. You should recognize it if it arrives intact. It's from your launch day. You in uniform, looking beautiful, with me in pastel in front of the conservatory. My hair's a mess, and I've got somebody's lipstick on my shirt. Pastels, maybe? On Monday, it'll be 18 months since you left. A year since Pastel's launch. And just 6 months since mine. I salvaged some metal and made a ring. If you've got anything to spare, will you make one too? 70,222 light years away. Neon. Dear Neon, 2 of the files worked, though we lost Pastel in the group photo. You can see their hand around my waist, and the rest is static. Thank you. I missed your smile. It's hard to believe we were ever that young, and yet it hasn't even been 2 years. I took an old washer and filed it down over a few days. It fits my ring finger. 81,500 light years away. Chalk. Dear Neon, you know me. I have to be a little extra. I'm attaching a photo of my ring, using the tines of a fork to create a triple braided design. You, me, chalk. I made it a bit tight, so I'm not sure I'll be able to get it off. Not that I want to. I sent him a picture as well. I should have a little more luck getting the file to him uncorrupted. Past Pluto, by the way. No offense, but your model didn't do it justice. 12,875 light years away. Pastel. Dear Pastel and Chalk, I'm sending this message to both of you, but I know you'll get it at different times. Consider this my wedding vow. 5 years we've known each other. 5 years we'll sail the stars. Wherever we end up when our mission's complete, whether it be a planet or a galaxy apart, I vow to find you. I vow to board the first and fastest ship to you. I vow to keep in contact as long as my letters continue to reach their destinations. I vow to keep writing, even if my words get lost in the space between us. I vow to love you both, as long as I live. 14,555 and 82,788 light years away. Neon. Dear Neon and Chalk, the more I catch up with one of you, the more I leave the other behind. I hope you receive this letter and my vows within. Nothing I make will ever be sweeter than your touch. No image can capture your face. Let our rings remind us that every journey is cyclical, every beginning within sight of its end. If this is a race, there's no shame in coming last. With this love, I'm not afraid of the emptiness outside. I know I'm not truly alone. I vow to love you both as long as I live. 17,213 and 62,300 light years away. Pastel. Dear Neon and Pastel, I received your vows out of order. Now I have them side by side, printed and tacked up to the wall. I've painted the edges with stars. You talk about races and destinations, but I'm going to beat you both. When my mission finishes in 3 years, I'll be the one to board a ship to take me to Pastel's destination. I'll wait as long as it takes, and when they land, we'll book another journey, speeding over the last 6 months until we reach Neon's end. And when he disembarks, there will be no more ships, no more waiting, no more dark. Here is my vow, spoken between galaxies even now creeping closer to one another, drawn by the inexorable desire in their hearts. When I close my eyes, I see you. When I hold myself, I feel you. When I paint you. There is no beauty greater than the 2 souls I pledge myself to now, over light years of distance. I love you. I love you. My ship sails on, accelerating into the unknown. I don't know where I'll end up. I do know with whom. I vow to love you both as long as I live. 94,630 and 71,800 light years away. Chalk. Intercepted file number 333, miraculously uncorrupted in the third layer of the Monoceros Ring, on the outskirts of the Milky Way. A photo of 3 people in uniform on an unknown exoplanet with a varicolored horizon. They hold hands, looking not at the camera, but at each other. Each wears a mismatched, homemade ring. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Marisca.
That was lovely.
Oh,
That was lovely. Thank you so much.
it was, I kept expecting something horrible to happen and for it to be tragic and break my heart. And, I like those stories too, but I'm so glad that this one decided to heal it instead. That was beautiful.
Thank you. And the 5 years was perfect.
Right? Actually,
Right. Whoa.
yes, because we're voyaging through time in stories.
Indeed.
Oh, that's spooky. And I thought the voices were distinct enough.
Yeah.
So don't.
It worked very well. Spoken.
It really did.
Beautifully.
So it is our way at Story Hour to just take a moment between our 2 readers to bask in the final rays of the first story and take in to ourselves what of it we are going to take in and leave ourselves open for the next story. So that's all very goofy and new agey, and I totally made it all up, but the easiest way to do it is with the breath. Everyone, that was Marisca Pichette. And our next reader tonight is Vanessa Fogg. Vanessa Fogg dreams of selkies, dragons, and gritty cyberpunk futures in her hometown in Western Michigan. She spent years as a research scientist in molecular cell biology and now works as a freelance medical writer. Her writing has appeared in Lightspeed, Podcastle, Giganotosaurus, Neil Clark's The Best Science Fiction of the Year, Volume 4, and the Bram Stoker Award-nominated anthology Unquiet Spirits, Essays by Asian Women in Horror. Her debut collection, The House of Illusionists and Other Stories, is forthcoming from Interstellar Flight Press. For a complete bibliography and more, visit her website at vanessafogg.com. Vanessa, welcome back.
Hi, thank you for inviting me back. Okay, so we'll just start. The story I'm going to read is called Wings. It was first published in Translunar Travelers Lounge, and I'm so glad Mariska read that beautiful story because I hope my story is a good match because it's also a love story. So, okay, I'll start. Last night you were a great black cat, larger than me, with shining green eyes. You stretched out on the bed, and I curled against you, the back of my head against your belly, your purr of contentment vibrating through me. I fell asleep, so happy that I nearly didn't think of your former self. When I wake, you were gone. I go to the window and look out. There's a white heron in a pine tree waiting for my gaze. Sunlight strikes your white feathers. You shine against green needles. I wish you weren't so far away. There was a whole week when you were a fish. Beautiful goldfish, long as my arm, patterned in gold and red and orange, with flowing tail and fins. It was a full day before I found you in the pond under the willows. I was so relieved that I cried. I brought you bread over the next several days, and you swam close to me to take it, but not close enough to touch. There are times when we can't touch, can't even breathe the same air. You were a red-winged blackbird next. You perched outside my window and woke me with your song, a run of trills repeated again and again. When you were still human, you told me love stories. True birds nested in the woods, you read. Lamplight was golden on your long, slim hands as they touched the page. Your face in shadow, your voice a clear, resonant baritone, soft in the falling dusk. You spoke of doves that served as messengers between lovers, of magpies who formed a sky bridge to unite a husband and wife, of lovers who drowned and were turned to kingfishers by a merciful God, of lovers lost and parted forever. Two birds in the woods, you read, and then one woke to find itself alone. We fled before my mother's rage. It is one thing for a princess to play with the latest court poet. It is quite another for her to marry him. We fled to an enchanted island in a great lake where we could always be together. But my mother twisted the enchantment, making of it a bitter joke. She knew that I fell in love with your voice and stories, so she took them both away. I speak, but you never answer in words. I wind my fingers in your fur or stroke your feathers or scales. I listen to your purr, your growl, your squeak, your chirp. When I can, I tilt my head to listen to your heartbeat. There was a desert of pink sand, you once told me. We were lying together in my mother's gardens under the weeping willows. At the edge of this desert, you continued, is a city carved of cliffs striped rose and gold. The air smells of cinnamon, and at dusk 1,000 bells ring. Our hands reached each to each, our fingers intertwined. There is a city by the sea, I said, a city carved in pearl and mother of pearl, built of coral and shells, a city that shines like light on water. The people carry lamps of phosphorescent fish, and they tend gardens of swaying anemone. This was how it happened, with stories from books and song and memory, stories spun of our imagination, pure fantasy, traded back and forth between us, growing wilder with each iteration. Stories of our hearts. A man stood on the walls of his city, you said. His heart was a white bird which he flung into the sky. His heart spread wings and soared over the walls, over the desert, searching, searching. She swears that you would never speak again. She promises that you and I would be together, but always apart. She is waiting for me to tire of you, to leave this island and crawl back to her. You are iguana, fox, beetle, mouse, deer, fish, crow, and snake. Some forms are easier than others to hold in my arms. You're a bee, and then a spider which I can scarcely see. Understanding flickers in your eyes as you change. You know more, and then less. I hold on to what I have. In the audience hall, you sang of great feats of love, a mountain of glass scaled, a desert crossed, oceans that were swum, wars fought for a lover's hand. The evil sorcerer defeated, the war won, the curse shattered. At night, in the secrecy of my bedchamber, we whispered the small intimacies of love, the tender names, the private jests, the hitch of breath and muffled cry. And now you are absent, hidden. I search the forest for you, wondering what you've become today. I scan the tops of trees. I sing part of a song that we made together. She stands on the walls of her city. Her heart is a white bird which she flings into the air. Her heart soars over water and desert, searching, searching. All the stories we told, your hand in mine, lamplight shifting over your face, your golden skin, the arch of your brow, the pout of your lips, and then your face filling with laughter the way water fills a bowl. Are you sure, you said, when I brought you the silken cords that would bind us for life, that would tie a marriage knot whispered, witnessed by heaven? I didn't care about your lack of cuddles, your common blood. I didn't care about the risks. I looked into your tender, wondering eyes. I'm sure, I said. Through all my magic defenses, my mother finds ways to send me messages. Owls and ravens come marked with the glowing sign of peace, but with notes tied to their feet. The notes remind me that she's waiting. They speak of honor and duty in a greater world. They're filled with threats and with promises of forgiveness. I tear her messages to shreds. The willow leaves turn yellow. The cold wind blows. You change unpredictably. Foal, stag, possum, wren, squirrel, wolf. But the next time you change to a goldfish, you remember me. This time, you take the bread from my hand. Fall and winter, and you're a brown bear sleeping in a corner of my room. I read to you out loud. I watch you twitch in unknowable dreams. I speak. You're so far away. I'm still telling our stories. When you're not here to listen, I write them in ink pressed from berries and roots, stirred from pine resin and ash. I write on scraps of parchment that I find in the house. When that runs out, I strip bark from birch trees to use as scrolls. My words pile up. All the longing I feel, all the rage and grief and the joy we once shared, the days of our lives now, the solitude of this island, the sunlight on water and drip of rain through the trees. My happiness when you have eyes that look into mine, that seem to understand even a little of what I say. Spring and summer and fall again. My mother's messages come this year as golden leaves blown into our home, her writing scarlet along the veins. I tear them up and ask the wind to blow them away. You are beautiful. You are beautiful still. Whatever form you take, you are beautiful. I find myself speaking less and less. My own voice grows strange to my ears. There is a language deeper than words, a language of silence, touch, and simple presence. This is the language we speak now. You're a rabbit watching the sunset with me, a butterfly on my table as I write, a small cat the color of smoke curled up upon my lap. Seasons turn and blur, and our past life feels like a dream. Were you a poet and singer once? Was I a princess? Did we meet in my mother's garden? Sneak kisses in the arbor? Did we tell each other stories? Did words spill between us like a rushing river suddenly loose? There were cities in this dream, impossible cities of sand and light, music and dancing, a glittering court, books of poetry bound in red silk, a man's voice singing, soft as dusk. A princess in her gilded cage, stranger from a far-off land, a story. Wisteria in bloom, a curtain of green willow leaves, your hand on mine as I turned a page. Our hearts singing through our words, each to each. I try singing a bit of poetry now. Their hearts were white birds. Their hearts were singing. Their hearts flew over desert and sea, mountain and plain. I'm crying. You whine and push your cold, wet nose under my hand. Your large brown dog eyes look into mine. I throw my arms around your furry neck and hug you. I miss you. Two birds in the woods, the poem echoes in my mind. And then there was only one. I've been afraid. I've kept us on this island in a far northern lake. I've used what magic I have to keep us shielded from my mother's power. Safe. Trapped. You change through countless forms, and I stay the same. Each time we find one another, we're together, but it's not enough. I've been afraid to take the next step. But I step from our little house now in search of you. It's spring. The entire sky is ringing with bird song. The robins are here and the red-winged blackbirds. Waterfowl are migrating up from the southern lands. I've heard the calling of loons. The red-tailed hawks are nesting. You are white heron stepping delicately at the edge of the pond. You shine against the green willows. I hold my mother's latest message in my hand. A green leaf this time, her words written in gold. She says that she has lost all patience, that she has found a way to breach my island defenses, that if I do not return, she would come to finally silence you in all ways, forever. I toss her message to the wind. It's time. Even without her warning, I would know that it's time. I swept our little house this morning. I stacked my birch bark scrolls neatly on table and shelf. 3 years of writing. My mother can read through them if she wishes. All those scrawls of ink, all to say only, I was here. But now I am done with words. You move toward me on your impossibly thin hair and legs. My love, I've clung to what I am. I've been afraid to change with you, but I'm ready now. Your gold-rimmed eyes look into mine. I reach out and touch your feathers. It's you. Through all your transformations, somewhere deep inside, it's always been you. It took me this long to be sure. I can't undo my mother's spell. I can't make you human again, but I can extend the spell to myself. I can join you. I let the protective barriers around the island drop. The wind picks up. I feel the surge of energy flowing. It's time to leave, my love. to dare the wider world together. I can't guarantee our safety out there, but if you could speak, I know you would agree to the risk. You stand still as I stroke your back. I reach for the spell wrapped tightly around you. I tap into the energy flowing, released, through the collapse of my wards and protections. I reach into myself and I draw on everything I have. I pull on my mother's spell. I stretch it out. I wrap it shimmering about myself like a shawl. I feel my limbs shrinking and then stretching, my bones lightening, hollowing. You're with me. I cry out as feathers break through my skin like 1,000 hot needles. My bones melt, flow, and are reshaped. Wings curve from my back. You're with me. I feel your beak on me, tenderly grooming my feathers. Memories flash, images of a different life. The strum of a lute, the smell of spring flowers, a man's voice calling for me in the dark. My heart was a white bird seeking yours. We met in a garden. Sky, sky above, so much sky, an endless ocean of it. White wings, white feathers, two birds. There was one, but now there are two. The last words I'll ever think, ever know. Our hearts are flying over sea and desert, mountain and plain. Our hearts meet in the sky. We're in the sky. The wind is beneath us, the sun above, the island behind, and we're flying, flying. These are my last human thoughts, my last words. There was only sky and wind, and you beside me, changing forever. We're changed together, me and you. The end.
Was so lovely. And hearing it after Marisca's story, I felt like I've just cracked open an anthology. How wonderful. Mm.
Oops, I think I lost you.
What? Am I gone? Was
No,
Did I go
I
quiet?
opened the window by accident. Okay, you're back. I opened the window by
Good.
accident.
Yeah, we are expecting the atmospheric river to come mess things up. So I was like, at least I got to hear the stories. Oh, beautiful. Two really
Yeah.
beautiful stories tonight.
I thought it matched so well with Marisca's. Marisca's was so lovely.
And you didn't talk to each other about it.
No, we were just on the same wavelength. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Loved it.
No, we were saying in the chat, we really feel like we could use some love right now. Some faith in humanity, some kindness. So these stories would always be welcome, but I think that they really found a good time tonight. Thank you. Thank you both. Well. Daniel and I are here almost every week, but next week we are actually taking the week off for American Thanksgiving. We'd used to try to do it, and we'd have Canadians come in and read for us, and it was nice, but it was always a little hard because then I would have to go bake pies, and this way it's going to work. So we are going to be off next week, but we will return the following week with James Chambers and Lee Murray on December 4th. I do recommend checking storyhour2020.com for any updates. And it's also a good place to just look at the schedule of upcoming authors. I'll be updating that tonight all the way into February of 2025, if you can believe that. And you can also watch any of the programs you may have missed. You can do that either directly through Facebook or through the Story Hour site. There are links there as well. So you can just go and watch some that you wish you'd been there for, or watch this one a few more times. I think that might be a good thing for us. Oh, well, Vanessa Fogg, Marisca Pichette, thank you so much for sharing these stories with us tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for hosting and just creating such a beautiful space for sharing stories.
We are so happy to have it and to have you here with us. Thank you certainly to Daniel Marcus, without whom this Zoom room would not be open tonight. So that's very special. We'd also like to thank SIFWA for the Givers Fund grant that is helping us keep things going. And to remind everybody that every story on Story Hour belongs to its author, who you hear reading it. Hasn't been a problem so far, but just thought I'd get that out there. And thank you who are listening now, those of you who are listening at some point in the future, for joining us. We hope that next week you will have an enjoyable harvest festival of your choice, or at least some good pie. And keep loving stories. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other, as Daniel often says. Good night from Story Hour.